You know, some days I wake up here in Thailand, sip my morning coffee, and watch the geckos arguing on the wall, and I genuinely wonder, when did thinking become optional? Everywhere you look, people are scrolling, sharing, shouting, but not actually thinking. We have traded wisdom for Wi-Fi and swapped curiosity for clickbait. So, before you swallow the next viral truth, let us slow down and dust off the old noggin, because if we do not start questioning things, well, the world's going to keep spinning just without the brains engaged. You know, the older I get, the more convinced I am that the world's collective common sense has quietly packed its bags, hopped on a budget flight, and disappeared into the jungle. It is certainly not hanging around on the internet, that is for sure. And before anyone says, "Oh, Grandad's moaning again," let me remind you, I have been watching this circus for a long time. I left England back in 1977 when phones still had cords and politicians still pretended to blush when caught lying, and I have lived abroad ever since. If nothing else, that gives a man perspective. Besides, trust me, the view is not getting prettier. We live in an age of information overload, where people consume more data before breakfast than their grandparents came across in a month. Yet, somehow, people are becoming less informed. Go figure. You would think having the sum total of human knowledge in your pocket would make us wiser. However, no. Instead, it has made us gullible, reactive, and about as discerning as a drunk tourist choosing a tattoo on Bangla Road at 3 a.m. The real problem, it is not information, it is thinking, or rather the tragic decline of it. Critical thinking has become a lost art, something that once lived proudly in classrooms, libraries, and late-night debates, but has now been replaced with viral headlines, TikTok gurus, and people confidently shouting nonsense into their phones while walking down the street. Honestly, the world looks like it is being run by people who skim read a meme once and decided they are Socrates. You see, most people no longer challenge anything. They do not question. They do not pause. They do not ask themselves, "Hang on, does this actually make sense?" No, they just accept whatever pops up on their screen because it came with a shiny thumbnail and a bloke speaking quickly. On top of that, this brings me to one of the biggest issues of our age: echo chambers. Entire digital communities built around people who only want to hear what they already believe. A bit like living in a house where every room has a mirror. You are not exchanging ideas, you are just admiring yourself from different angles. However, this is not just modern technology's fault. Oh no, it goes deeper. There is something I like to call the law of belief, and you can see it everywhere. Here is how it works. You do not believe what you see. You see what you have already decided to believe. There, that is it. Simple, powerful, terrifying. People wander around thinking their brains are these objective, impartial machines, when in reality, the mind is more like a Thai taxi meter. It always starts running the moment you step in, and it does not necessarily show the real cost of anything. Beliefs are formed in strange ways from parents, teachers, friends, society, old stories, a few solid experiences, and a whole lot of emotional fluff. What's more, once a belief is lodged inside you, it becomes the filter through which you view the entire world. Does not matter if it is true. Does not matter if it is outdated. Does not matter if it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. If you believe it strongly enough, you will twist reality to fit it. I have seen grown adults who believe they are rational turn into absolute lunatics the moment their favourite news channel starts something slightly off script. I've seen people defend ideas that could not stand up to a light breeze simply because someone on the social media told them it was the truth. As if that was not enough, let us not even talk about conspiracy theories. Those have become a modern hobby, like stamp collecting, but with more shouting. Nevertheless, here is the kicker. Life does not give you what you want. It gives you what you intend with feeling. Whether these intentions are conscious or buried somewhere deep in your psychological basement, it does not matter. They are steering the ship. People say they want success, but deep down they believe they are destined to fail. So, guess what they get? People say they want love, but carry a belief they are unworthy. So, guess what they attract? People say they want truth, but only seek out information that supports their existing illusions. To top it off, where do these beliefs come from? Ah, yes, the wonderful construction site inside our heads. A messy mixture of facts, half-truths, childhood impressions, old wounds, opinions from people who barely knew what they were talking about, and a generous sprinkling of pure fiction. It is like building a house with bricks, banana peels, and whatever else you can find lying around. However, once the house is built, you call it My World View and defend it like it's Buckingham Palace. This is why I'm constantly telling people, especially the younger ones who think Wikipedia is the modern Bible, do not take everything at face value. Challenge it, question it, pull it apart, make it earn your belief. Because once an idea sinks into the mind without being examined, it becomes a tenant which never pays rent and refuses to move out. Now, do not get me wrong. I am not claiming to be some enlightened monk sitting on a mountain. I am just an old English bloke who has been around long enough to see patterns. I have lived in Thailand for decades now, and believe me, if living here does not teach you to question things, nothing will. The place is full of surprises. One minute everything seems fine, the next minute a buffalo is blocking your driveway, and a man is trying to sell you original Rolexes from a wicker basket. Nevertheless, that is also what gives me perspective, distance, time, a chance to observe the madness of modern society from a slight angle. Besides, what I see is a world full of smart devices and increasingly unsmart people. So, if you take nothing else from this ramble of mine, take this. Think. Just think. Not everything you hear is true. Not everything you see is accurate. Not everything you believe is reality. Slow down. Question things. Challenge yourself. Moreover, when something feels too perfect, too convenient, or too outrageously aligned with what you already believe, that is exactly when you should pause and dig deeper. Because at the end of the day, real freedom is not about living in a certain country, or having certain opinions, or following a certain group. Real freedom is the ability to think clearly, independently, and meaningfully. What's more, if we lose that, well, we might as well hand our brains to the nearest algorithm and let it tell us what to think next. However, not me, not yet. I am far too grumpy, far too stubborn to give up on thinking. Well, there you have it, another gentle reminder from your resident grumpy foreigner. If any of this made you think, even a little, congratulations, you are already ahead of half the internet. Now, do me a favour, question something today, anything, even the price of mangoes. Not only that, but if you did, enjoyed listening to an old Englishman complain his way towards enlightenment. Go on, please like, subscribe, or drop a comment. It keeps me motivated and it confuses the algorithm beautifully. Take care and goodbye.